Ready? Chapter 29 Assumptions. After what had just gone down, Keon wanted to stay awake for Aino. Unfortunately, he was too tired and had fallen asleep on one of the logs instead. Juha and Atle had taken over the night shift. They were both incredibly pissed off at Jarl. Atle even more so than Juha. Jarl was his general, his responsibility. The Brigadier General wasn't even allowed to approach Aino anymore. "What do you think Niila will do with him when he finds out?" Juha asked his fellow general. "I don't know. Whatever he does, it won't be pretty," Atle responded. "He might be able to talk himself out of it. He's a pretty skilled manipulator. According to him, Niila is quite susceptible to it as well. He described how Victor had him wrapped around his little finger," Aino added. Atle shook his head. "No, Victor was special. It wasn't just that he was a good manipulator. It was that he had power over Niila. Victor wasn't that smart, but he still got Niila to do as he wanted. I don't know what it was, but it was like Niila couldn't say no to him." Aino wanted to change the subject. She didn't want to speculate about Niila's feelings. It was better to ask him when they met in person. "Atle, I don't think I've ever asked about your story." She looked at him. He looked back at her, expecting another sob story. "It's not that much of a story to tell, really. My father bailed on my mother when he found out that she was pregnant. I've never met him. My mother raised me. She was a gentle woman. Unfortunately, she had a weak heart. It was genetic. She told me to be careful and not do anything dangerous that could jeopardize my health. She died when I was 14 years old. Her heart gave up. I had heard about the blood armies, how strong the mages were. I thought if I became one, it would make my heart stronger. A sentiment my mother probably wouldn't have agreed with. But in the end, it did help. Your blood did help me, Aino." He smiled at her. "How are you feeling after yesterday?" Keon turned his head and looked up at Aino. She was once again on his back. They had just left the 12th camp, heading for the 13th. "I'm okay, Keon. You know my body doesn't sustain any damage," she answered him. "That's not what I meant. Just because your body isn't hurt, doesn't mean the same goes for your mind. I have a feeling that conversation you had with Jarl, before he hit you, wasn't all that pleasant," Keon said to her. "He's a scary man. If it wasn't for the fact that he can't hurt me physically, I would have never engaged in a conversation with him in the first place. He tried his hardest to provoke me. He wanted to manipulate me, to give out information he could use later against me. He didn't get any. Instead, I provoked him. As you noticed, he didn't like it. Called me names, and the force from that slap was so great that it would have crushed any normal human being's skull. Fortunately, it backfired on him. I could feel everything he felt. It made it a lot easier to see through his lies. Problem is, you can't win against someone like him. I only had the upper hand on him because of my powers. If I didn't have them, I would have been the prey," she answered. Keon raised his eyebrows at her. "Don't be modest, Aino. You knew exactly what you were doing. You wanted everyone to see his true colors. I'd say you accomplished your goal." She gave him a crooked smile. "Maybe so." "Tomorrow you finally get to meet Ayla," Ilsa said in a happy tone to Aino. "I know she's been longing for this moment for many years." "So has Niila. After the truce was made, he sat and rambled about you for an hour with his sister. I think the mission has kept his hope alive," Disa filled in with a smile. They had just set up camp for the night, so most of the officers were still up and chatting away with each other. Y'all were still under careful watch to make sure he didn't come close to Aino. The night shifts were all carefully planned out so that there would be at least 2 high-ranking officers sitting by Aino at all times. "So, what's this thing between you and Abed?" Jill apparently wanted to change the subject completely. He looked suspiciously at his cousin. "What do you mean by thing?" Jill asked him. "I have seen the both of you walk away together every night since the 2 of you met again at Embla's camp. There is something going on here and I want to know what it is. He kept his eyes peeled to her. You're making a bigger deal out of it than it is. He's grieving the love of his life. It's only been 3 months. We just sleep together, as in falling asleep holding each other. It helps calm us both down. There is nothing sexual about it, she answered dismissively. And how do you know that's all it is to him? Theo asked. I mean, come on, Arvid's not into women. How do you know that? Anand was a man, duh. So, it's possible that he could be into both men and women. Have you ever asked him? Theo kept pushing. He wasn't giving up. Lisa thought about it for a moment. She had never actually asked him. She had just assumed he wasn't into her. She stood up. I'm just gonna go ask him. Yeah, you do that. Theo filled in as Lisa walked off. Arvid was watching the sun set. All the different colors of the sky made the evening all the more beautiful. Lisa came up beside him, looking up at the sky as well. Arvid, after the last battle of the mages, I've been having non-stop nightmares. Having you beside me during the nights has helped me a lot. I know you found it comforting too, after losing Anand. But that's all it's been, right? Comforting? She asked him tentatively. He turned his head and smiled at her. No. Lisa froze where she stood. Had she been wrong? You assumed I was only into men, didn't you? Arvid asked her when she went silent. Since you were with Anand, I never thought you had any interest in women, she answered. Don't get me wrong, I'm still in love with him, but day by day it's getting easier. I'm healing, and while I know I'm not ready for anything new yet, I also know that will change in the future. I've always liked you, Lisa. I did guess that you thought I wasn't into you, but it didn't matter. The fact that I got to be this close to you, even though you might not feel the same, still made me happy. He smiled as he looked at the night sky. I didn't even imagine us as a possibility, she said quietly. It's about time you started imagining it. I've always liked my partners bigger than me anyway, and you are even taller than Anand. All I'm asking is that you give it some thought. Once I'm healed, I'd totally be willing to give it a shot. He looked at her. Lisa looked back at him. I really did miss you when we were separated into different camps. I missed you too, Arvid said as he smiled at her. Lisa sat down next to her cousin again. I asked him. He does like women too, she said to Tyr. Good. Well, now that you know that he doesn't... Wait, what? He gaped at her. She looked back at him. You thought he was only into men as well? Yeah, I only wanted you to ask to make sure. I didn't actually think... He went silent. Both of the officers stared in shock at the campfire in front of them. Oh man, he's actually interested in you, isn't he? Tyr asked her. She nodded at him. You can't blame him though. Who wouldn't love such a perfect human being such as myself? She laughed to herself. Tyr rolled his eyes at her. Your ego is indeed the perfect size, Lisa said, rounding up the conversation.